What an incredible year we are closing. When we met at the end of the last year, none of us here or anywhere else imagined that 2022 would bring back war in Europe. Yet here we are, grappling with the consequences of a war that is destroying a European democratic country, but also destroying the confidence in stability in our own democratic countries, threatened by repercussions that range from inflation to shocking energy prices. Our thoughts tonight are first and foremost with the hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian families, for whom the worst Christmas since World War II will mean loneliness rather than community, darkness rather than lights, fear rather than celebration. Let us pray for them each time we gather with friends and family under the lights of the New Year's tree in our cities and our homes. We will think and pray for them while knowing that thoughts and prayers are not enough. Our nations and governments know that for the Ukrainians, actions are more needed than words. That is why, since the first day of the Russian aggression, we try to support their cause for freedom and to ease the terrifying pain inflicted by the 294 days of a war. Albania will stand with Ukraine all the way. We are honored and humbled to have been given the privilege to support as non-permanent Security Council member state the just cause of the state of Ukraine. Who could have imagined until a few years ago that Albania would be sitting up there with very few others to debate the most important United Nations issues? Who could have thought that Albania would be the first country chosen to host the first ever EU summit out of the European Union borders? Both would have been considered wild fantasies, the product of an excessively adventurous, dare I say, artistic mind. Yet both are real. Albania's voice at the Security Council table has been heard since the year started. Albania's hosting of an EU summit made headlines as the year was approaching the end. And guess what? We are here to celebrate another special anniversary. Albania was accepted as a member of the United Nations precisely on this day, on the 14th of December, but the year was 1955. What an incredible year for our foreign relations, this 2022. And while we are on the topic of propitious occurrences, let us not forget the start of accession talks with the European Union. This is another crucial date marked on our calendars. But to me, what makes it stand out is not simply its significance for our foreign relations. More than the relations of Albania with Europe, this is about the relations of Albanians with their own future. Thanks to this major achievement, Albania is nearer to the future than it was at the beginning of this year. The ghosts of our past are further behind us than they were when the year started. But rather than haunting spirits that terrify us, they are starting to look like witnesses of history. They are there for us to learn without being afraid. Nobody can question the significance of Albania's international scene stance, and nobody can question Albania's role to protect this tormented region from its own bad habit to produce more history that it can digest. We are proud and happy to have been asked by our big friend and partner Germany to host next spring the Berlin Process Summit. We see it as an expression of appreciation and respect for what Albania is continuously doing to actively promote regional cooperation, peace and dialogue, closer ties with its Western Balkan neighbors, interactions between people and businesses from all our countries. We'll do our best to be up to the task and host a memorable Berlin Process Summit, as you hosted an EU summit that left a positive mark on all those who came to Tirana to take part in it: leaders, staffers, EU personnel, journalists, security people. I know, we all know, it's not a good end of the year for the normalization process between Kosovo and Serbia. Raising tensions in the north of Kosovo are not only unhelpful, they are deeply concerning. It is incredible that we have to continuously deal with the appearance of barricades, the regress of the normalization process, and teams of US, EU firefighters running to rescue the machinery of dialogue from the flames of an aggravated political rhetoric. Most recently, we even heard of requests made to NATO to send Serbian troops in northern Kosovo for the protection of ethnic Serbs. I understand that this might be just another cherry bomb firework of political rhetoric, but this is as surreal as if Kosovo asked NATO to send Albanian troops in South Serbia for the protection of ethnic Albanians. All this is too far from what is needed. We have entered the third decade since Kosovo was freed forever from Belgrade. It will never again be under Belgrade's rule. What's needed are only three things: dialogue, dialogue, dialogue. The rest is just bad politics. I know too well that this is easier said than done, but every shortcut taken from a difficult, even painful dialogue between Serbia and Kosovo will bring not just both of them, but all our region in a very dangerous place. We did not choose to live in this troubled neighborhood of Europe called Balkan. And even if we could, we would have immediately replaced each other with other neighbors. But first, there is no other place in this planet to transfer our country. And second, each and every one of our neighbors are here to stay. So we had better learn, and learn fast, to live with each other, work with each other, help each other. And we had better understand, without losing more decades, that we should do so, because this is the best we can do to serve our very own self-interest. We need to keep the Russian war plague out of this region. And while we will always stand firm with the Republic of Kosovo every time that its sovereign right to be ruled by its own authorities is questioned in whatever form, we also have no doubt that building bridges of cooperation with Serbia is not only a right thing to do, but it is something that serves our interests as country and as nation as well, and that promotes peace in a region where the ghosts of the past are always ready to wage war to our shared future.